Hi my babies, hi and welcome back to another Sunday in Mimosas. And yes, I know what day it is. It's my channel. I can do what I want. Thank you. So today's Sunday in Mimosa, I'm going back and forth about the title, so I don't know which one I'm naming it yet. So today we are going to be speaking about someone we're going to call Miss Lou. And I met Miss Lou at a job training. It was 2 days before my last day there when she sat at the end of a bench because it was like the smoking section, and like she was like someone that was, I would kind of say, like noticeable in the class because she was always asking questions and stuff. And by that time I had checked out. Like I had checked out. I was mentally not there, like far as focusing on the job and stuff. My mind was other places, and my trainer could tell that. But usually when we would go on a break, everybody would go down to the smoking section, which is behind the building. But for some reason that day, everybody stayed against the wall and nobody went down there to the smoker section but me. And I went and sat on the bench. And I was sitting there and I was so deep in thought, I didn't even pay attention to the fact that Miss Lou had sat beside me. And when I noticed she was sitting beside me, the first thing I thought was, please don't say nothing to me, okay? Because, like, I did not feel like talking to nobody. Like, it was so much stuff going on at once. And it's like I was trying to piece my life together. And my head was just all over the place. And I was trying to, like, iron stuff out and figure stuff out. And she sat down on the end of the bench. And she sat there for a little bit. And she didn't say anything. I could tell she was being hesitant. And she wanted to say hi. So she ended up saying hi. And we ended up having a conversation. And we ended up speaking about spirituality. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm into spirituality. She was like, are you spiritual? I was like, yeah, I am. And I'm like, how does she know that? So we ended up having a conversation, and then we ended up becoming work buddies. Now, she didn't like our trainer, but to me, he was very inspirational, like, because he's into music, he's a producer, and he used to be a rapper, and he actually had the opportunity to sit down and actually meet Jay-Z when he was rapping. And he said Jay-Z flipped through his rhyme book, and he was like, he liked his rhymes. He was like, yeah, this is hot. He was like, spit something for me. And he said he froze. I was like, oh. So I was like, no. He was like, and he regrets that. He was like, he froze. And so, I don't know. It's like, it seemed like, because I had a connection with our trainer too, and it seemed like he could tell. Because he asked everybody, like, what is it that you would want to do outside of this job? And I was like, music, poetry, like stuff like that. And like, so me and him had a connection. And like every day we would come into work, he would, before we would start class, he would end up telling a story, but it would be related to his music career. And I know he was speaking to me and he was trying to inspire me, and I definitely appreciate him. But Miss Lou didn't like him because she was like, he seemed like he always stuck on himself. I was like, no, he actually mad cool. He noticed I wasn't interested in being there, and when we were supposed to be working in a group, like he had like sectioned everybody off in a group, I didn't move, okay? I didn't move because I was over there writing poetry. I was over there writing poetry. Everybody else broke off in the group, and I'm over there writing poetry by myself. And he had came and sat beside me once again. Like, I was just not mentally there. Like, my mind was other places. And I did not notice he had sat beside me. He was sitting there for a minute, and I was deep into writing a poem. And he was like, and I looked, and I was like, oh, shit. And he was like, can we, but like, first we had a conversation, and he was like, do you really want to be here? And I was like, no. Like, to be honest with you, no. Because it was a bad situation. Like, I had my mama car, and she was catching the bus to work in the dark, and she was coming home from work on the bus in the dark, and I didn't feel right about that in order for me to work a night job. And yeah, I got paid for the training, but it's like, I just didn't feel right. My mama was on the bus, and I was worried about my mama, and I was thinking about, like, how can I find another job and this and the third. But I was so grateful that a job actually, and it wasn't a temp job, it was to me a real job, not a temp job, even though temp jobs are real jobs. But I was just so happy, and I felt blessed that I had someone that was willing to give me a chance after the charges that I had. So I was trying to thug it out. I was trying my best to thug it out. But yeah, it wasn't working, and I could tell I wasn't supposed to be there. And he could tell I wasn't supposed to be there. So he ended up taking me outside the classroom, and we had a conversation. And we had a real raw conversation. Like, I was telling him about Marley And he made a good point, and he was like, so you got the dog because you were suicidal, this, that, and the third. He said, so what happens if the dog dies? He said, what's going to keep you alive? So when he told me that, I always make sure that I don't emotionally depend on Marley. And that's actually part of the reason why I worked on my emotional healing, because I want to make sure if I'm going to emotionally depend on somebody, I emotionally depend on myself. But we ended up having a conversation about like my career and my businesses and stuff, and he was basically telling me, fuck this job, go after it. Okay, basically. So I ended up quitting that night, but me and Lou had exchanged information. We added each other on Facebook. And my trainer actually supported me quitting. I was shocked. But he understood though. He actually walked me to my car and everything. He understood. But me and Miss Lou, we stayed in contact, and she came to me to do a reading for her because I went to her for spiritual advice, and I was honored that she came to me to do a reading for her. And the reason why she wanted me to do a reading, because stuff was going on with her and her husband. I do the reading for her. And also, I met her right after me and Double Dick stopped messing with each other. So I was going through a lot of emotional healing. But I do the reading for her, and she said it was extremely accurate to the point where it was scary. And I did not know her that well. And so because of my reading, she decided to stay with her husband, because now that I'm trying to put her business out there, but it's going to be something that's going to be important later on in the Sunday Mimosa. Her husband ended up cheating on her, and it really hurt her and damaged her and fucked up her trust, and I understand that. We did stay in contact. She actually came over, and she taught me how to set up my altar, and that's how I learned how to set up an altar. And she said she was going to do some Reiki on me. Now, when she came over, this was after I had got in the first car accident, and I had my miscarriage. So when she was doing the energy work on me, I noticed when she got to my stomach, she said, ooh, and she backed up a little bit. And when she was done, she was like, Nina, she was like, you have a lot of fire in your belly and stuff. And she was saying basically it wasn't good. And I already knew what she was talking about. It was basically me not healed from my miscarriage yet. And the crazy thing is, I ended up going to the emergency room the next month, and they actually thought I was pregnant when I went to the emergency room. So I already knew what she was speaking about, because she came over in September, and I had got in a car accident in June, and I already knew what she was speaking about. And there's the car horn. So yeah, she told me how to set up the altar. She did the energy work on me. And we also bonded because we have similar like inner child wounds, childhood traumas, being molested. So also, when I started dating my twin flame, she was very protective of me, and I thought it was a good thing at first. And I had started talking to, messing with, dating, whatever, my twin flame, and she was like, tell me about this boy that you all into. So I sent her his Facebook profile, and so she was going through his pictures, and she was like, oh, Nina. And I was like, what? And she told me what picture to go to, and that's when I told y'all the story when he was at this party and him and his homeboy took this picture together, but everybody was smoking, so it was a lot of smoke in the air in the picture. But she was like, I see a face. We ended up finding at least 5 faces in the smoke. Like, he was surrounded by like evil spirits and demons. And when I told him about it, he was like, that's funny that you say that. I said, why? He said, because the person in that picture, he said, I had to cut off because they betrayed me. I said, damn. Also, my twin flame, y'all gonna hear the story, had got into a situation, and I was gonna do some spiritual work for her, and she was very like protective of me. She was like, where did you get this from, and where did you get that? Do you know what you're doing? And I was like, yes, I know what I'm doing. So it's like, she actually told me, she was like, you're like my little mini me, because like I consider her to be my spiritual mentor. She's a high priestess, things of that nature. Well, she's actually in training to become a high priestess, but like, I consider her to be my spiritual mentor and also like a big sister to me, because we really had a genuine bond. So it was December 2021, and I was going through a lot, okay? I was going through heavy spiritual attacks. They were attacking me heavy on Facebook in the 757, because some girl is mad because I was trying to help that boy get out of jail, and they're like, oh, you doing it for attention? No, I wasn't. I was doing it to save his life. So I'm getting attacked, and that's when I ended up making that Sunday Mimosa. And I went to her, and she agreed to help me. But I noticed her energy has switched up on me when we was having a conversation, and she was saying some underhanded shit, and I ain't like it. Like, she told me, she was like, well, Nina, you need to stop doing that mess. And I was like, well, what is she talking about? So it's this place out here that y'all gonna hear about again called Planet Conscious, okay? And she had told me that she had went over there and they wanted her to come over there and speak this and the third. And she told them that she knew me. And that is something that I've been noticing with the conversations I've been having with people in the last few years when they come to me and tell me what other people's drama is that haven't brought it to me yet. I notice it's like people tend, like the people that are messy and like basically trying to make it seem like I'm a bad person, this and the third, they always tend to go have a conversation with people that they know I've been connected with or worked with or did something with, and they always build a bond with them based off of saying my name. So she told them, like, yeah, I know Nina. And then instantly that sparks a conversation. Y'all need to stop doing that shit. Y'all can have a conversation and build a bond off something else other than me, though. That's how, I swear, that's how people literally going around building bonds with each other. They mention my name and then they're automatically in the door. Oh, you know Koncrete Rose? Oh, you know Nina? No, they don't know me. Okay, not like that. They do not know me. Okay, the fuck? I'm like, yo. So when she told me about that, I had told her, I said, well, I stopped going over there. I said because of certain things, but I didn't tell her what. And I actually haven't told anyone all of the reasons why. I mentioned in the Sunday Mimosa one reason why. It's several reasons why I stopped going over there. I don't have no bad blood with them people, but they got bad blood with me though. Okay? But I never told her or anyone, don't go to Planet Conscious. Don't go fuck with them. Don't go shop with them. But yet they telling people don't fuck with the Rose though. Okay, I knew that when she told me that she went over there. And I knew they was telling people not to mess with me, this, that, and the third. Basically trying to blackball me because of my sister, this, that, and the third. So I never told her. I said, if you want to go over there and deal with them people, I said, go over there and deal with them. I said, I ain't going to stop you. I said, but I just don't deal with them. And she was like, I don't know, Nina. She like, the energy fell off and this, that, and the third. And I was like, baby, do whatever you feel, okay? Do whatever you feel. But she was messy in that conversation in December 2021. And when she said, Nina, you need to stop doing that mess that you're doing, I already knew she was speaking about Planet Conscious. And I'm like, why is these people going around telling people I'm doing witchcraft? I'm not the one doing witchcraft, baby. I ain't ever cast a spell on nobody. I'm not the one doing witchcraft. And they literally go around people telling people I'm a witch, this, that, and the third because of my sister. I'm not the one that's the witch, okay? I'm not the one that's the witch. So she also was hating on my YouTube channel as well. And she was like, don't you just want to focus on your poetry and, leave the spiritual stuff alone? When, in fact, she had told me a year prior, she was like, Nina, because she did a reading on me without my permission, and she not supposed to do that. And she was like, Nina, she said, girl, she said, when you get on fire, you're going to blow up. Ain't nothing going to be able to stop you. So she already knew what exactly. She peered into my destiny, and she didn't have the authority or permission to do so. Now, sometimes they will give you permission if it's to help someone. That shit won't to help me. That shit was to be nosy. She wanted to know who am I really and why is she so drawn to me. And she told me a year prior, she said, girl, she said, when you blow up, you going to be on fire. Ain't nothing going to be able to stop you. And now you telling me a year later, don't you just want to leave spirituality alone and just focus on your poetry and your music? She tried to start a YouTube channel. I was actually going to promote her YouTube channel. I was actually going to bring her up here to speak to y'all, to ask her questions, because she's into stuff that some of y'all are into that y'all know I don't approve of, like ancestor money and things of that nature. So I was gonna bring her up here so y'all could ask her questions and she would tell y'all like the correct answers to things. Like, it was gonna be a dope thing and we had planned it out. Of course, as y'all know, it didn't happen. I ain't know the lady was jealous of my YouTube channel. Oh, I found out you were watching it because we was having conversations. She on my Koncrete Rose, commenting up under my Koncrete Rose stuff. I was riding in the car with her and her husband one time. She played one of my songs out of nowhere. I was like, what in the fuck? And like, she'll tell me stuff that she would see on my Virgo Garden YouTube channel. So I knew she was watching me. And for her to say, don't you want to focus on your music and your poetry and leave spirituality alone? Do you feel threatened? Okay, because I've been told by several people, especially spiritual people, and even people that I did not know that were witches, I'm really young to have the gift and as strong as my gift is to be a medium. I'm really young. Like, my shit started when I was 12. And for it to come back and it's still as strong as it is, and I be speaking to people and their ancestors be speaking to me, and I be telling them what their ancestors say, and they be like, yo, that's crazy. Yeah. She didn't like that I had the spiritual gifts that I had. By the way, I forgot to mention, because this is also going to be relevant later as well. She's Puerto Rican. She's not black. She's Puerto Rican. Right. So I said I'm open to different friends, people. Okay. When we had that conversation, I was like, damn, why would she say that? But she completely backed up for me and disappeared. Completely backed up for me and disappeared for damn near a whole year again. This was right when I was getting back into college to get my master's degree in art therapy. And also, this was 2 months before I got jumped, stabbed, and went homeless. And I was mad with her because I'm like, yo, I told you I was getting attacked heavy spiritually. And you were supposed to help me and you ain't helped me. And now look. Okay? And now look. So she didn't come through to help me, and she left me hanging. Plus, her friend that she had linked me with when I was trying to get the boy out of jail, her friend was one leading the pack on stoning Nina on Facebook, and started sending me witchcraft too. And she's mad because y'all gonna hear the story later. I made a public post, and in this public post, I included Planet Conscious. And the whole reason why I took the post down an hour later, it was like 30 minutes to an hour later, is because I realized I put Planet Conscious name in there, and I didn't want people thinking what else I said in that post applied to Planet Conscious. But y'all gonna hear the story though. So she found out, oh, the people over there at Planet Conscious got an issue with me. So then she started attacking me and coming at me. So I'm like, your friend coming at me, you left me out back. Like, the shit just looked shifty to me, okay? So when me and her reconnected, it was almost a year later. It was after I was homeless and I had got jumped and stabbed. And she actually apologized to me for leaving me out back. And she was like, Nina, I was going through a lot this time, the third, so I understood. And she offered to help me again. So she told me everything that I needed to do. She told me what was going on. She did readings on me, this, that, and the third. And basically what happened, y'all, remember I disappeared, okay? Here goes something y'all was wondering, all right? Remember when I disappeared back in 2022? I disappeared for like 3 months, I think. I disappeared. I didn't post November, December, and when I came back, it was Martin Luther King Day, I think, in January. So I was gone for like 2.5 months. Well, this is where the kid was. This is what happened, guys. Come to find out, I had an ancestor that did not like me when they was alive, and when they passed away, they decided to attack me and attach themselves to me. So basically, in short, I had to get an exorcism done, okay? And no, it was not fun. It was exactly, that's what I'm like, the spiritual shit ain't no joke. Y'all sitting up here playing with cards and this, that, and the third. Yeah, bitch, get an exorcism done on you. You tell me how fun it is then, okay? Tell me how fun it is then when you got a whole spirit attached to you and you got to get a group of high priests and priestesses to come together to get the shit off you. Okay, and it's expensive, bitch. Okay, that shit won't cheap, bruh. And I was homeless and I had to stop working. Oh my goodness. Right, I had to stop working, yo. That shit fucked the kid up. I ended up getting the exorcism done. Now, mind you, it's a high priest, a high priestess, and then her and her husband. Her and her husband are in training to become a high priest and a high priestess. Now, the way she explained to me, the section that she's in to become a high priest, it is not witchcraft and it is of the light. But she said there is a branch that's up under that they do darkness and this, that, and the third. And we actually seen some people do it in front of our face, but that's another story. But they do darkness, this, that, and the third. But she assured me that she was of the light. And I believed her. Now, the high priest and the high priestess, they're Puerto Rican. And y'all can say what y'all want to say. It's a such thing as white Puerto Ricans, black Puerto Ricans, white Hispanics, black Hispanics. And it's clear to see that it is. Okay? It's a whole reason why they call it, what do they call it? Afro-Latina. It's a whole reason why Afro-Latina mean you're black. Okay? It means it's clear to see that you're black. All right? So They are white Puerto Ricans. My friend Miss Lou is a white Puerto Rican. However, her husband is a African American man. So the only two black people up in there is me and him. Okay? Clearly, because they do what they do, they can see the gifts I got on me and this, that, and the third. They can see that I'm special, basically, right? So we do the exorcism. And it was basically like half a day process, y'all. And the kid get through it. I feel better. You could tell I feel better. I look better. My energy went up. They even said, you even standing up straight. Like, you look taller. So, because I have the history that I had with the two married men, I made a commitment to myself that I don't want to deal with any more married men. I don't care what the situation is, separated or not. And that's just a commitment that I made to myself. And I meant that. So, I already know the pain that Miss Lou has gone through with her husband cheating on her, this, that, and the third. Now, what she did not tell me was, this nigga got some type of thing on him that naturally draws females to him. And when I say, okay, bruh, I was sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? Me and him was having a conversation. He was like, you look better, Nina. I was like, thank you. When I say I don't look at that man in that way at all, I always looked at him like, basically, I used to call them my godmama and my goddaddy. That's how I looked at him. Like, they're my spiritual godparents. I ain't ever been, now is he nice looking? Yeah, but when I say I ain't ever been attracted to the man, though. And that just so happened because it's a reason why I don't like looking people in their eyes, because of my spiritual gifts and how powerful they are. I ain't trying to be in people's business like that. And I just so happened to make eye contact with her. And when I made eye contact with her, y'all know that little swirly thing that they used to use back in the day to hypnotize people? That's what that shit was like. It's like I naturally got drawn into him and his face got brighter and brighter. And it's like I was getting pulled into his energy. And I said, what the fuck is going on? But I'm saying that in my head, and he recognized what was going on because he was told that he has whatever that is that's on him. And he walked out the room. And I'm glad he did. Not that I was going to do nothing stupid. It's just my energy was getting pulled. It's like he was taking my energy, yo. It's like he was taking my energy and he wasn't trying to purposely, but that shit was scary. I said, what the fuck, bro? I did not like that shit. I said, what? I had no control. I said, what the fuck? And that's when I should have known some funny shit going on. Okay? Because that ain't ever happened to me. I felt like I was being hypnotized. I did not like that shit. So we're all sitting there because after you get spiritual work done, you're supposed to eat afterwards, y'all. Or naturally you will be thirsty or hungry after you get spiritual work done. Especially when you're removing or you're cleansing. You should get thirsty or hungry afterwards. And that's how you know it was done right. So, we're sitting at the table. Mind you, I'm sitting there with 3 white Puerto Ricans and an African American man. The godmama, for whatever reason, the high priestess, their godmom, because they're their spiritual godparents. That's how it works in the branch that they're in. Once you become a high priest and a high priestess, you become godparents, but you also, when you're in training, you have godparents as well. So they were their godparents. Their godmama don't like the kid. She could see them gifts on me. That ain't my fault. This little light of mine. Okay, that ain't my fault now. Now, this is the problem. I believe in God. I pray to God. Yes, I do read the Bible. I'm open to reading other holy books as well. I'm universal. Long as we speaking about the higher ups, the mama and papa divine spirits that created all things of all things. Now, I know y'all believe in the male God, but it's a female one up there too. I'm telling you, okay? Long as we speaking about them, okay? Yeshua mama and daddy. That's what I believe in. It could be a different religion, just as long as we speak about them, though. Okay, I'm willing to learn what your beliefs are. They know that about me. Don't none of them believe in God. They call them the sky god. They call them basically, what the sky god meaning is an invisible thing in the air. It's imaginary, basically. It's insulting is what it is. It's insulting. But I guess they think I'm a Christian. I don't know. All I know is I'm sitting there, I'm eating the God jokes. I'm just happy that I got the spirit up off me. And her godmama come up out the mouth. Lady never looked up, barely spoke to me. Her godmama come up out the mouth and say, because she had, Miss Lou had made some food. So I'm sitting there eating the food I know I'm supposed to help grind my energy back. And she had made some plantains. But the plantains were brown. They didn't have any type of blackness on it, because y'all know the blacker they are, the sweeter they are. And they were brown, they weren't black. And so they were telling her how to make them properly, because she didn't know. And they're like, no, this is not how you make them. So her godmama come up out the mouth and say, they're supposed to be black like your husband. Everybody laughed, including her husband. Nina did not laugh. Nina did not find that funny. I said, did this lady just make a racist joke? I said, yeah, now I need to figure out how to get up out here. I need to figure out how to go ahead and go. I said, why would she say that? Why would she say that? Oh, y'all gonna find out later on. Yes, she made a black joke, bro. And I didn't want to disrespect the lady because she just helped me. But I was like, yo, what the fuck, man? So I was definitely upset about that. But they told me before I left, because they had to do something else on me before I left. And y'all got to be careful with who y'all let work on y'all energy. And this is why I say that. But they told me that I needed something for protection. And they just told me just buy it, and that's all you need to do and you're good. They didn't tell me get anything special done to it. Why the man tell me to buy it and then turn around? She was like, yeah, Nina, when you buy it, give it to me. I'm going to do something special to it. And I trusted her. So that's what I did. But that's also when I met that man, that high priest, that God daddy, he's the one that told me, Nina, people don't give you a fair chance. And I said, no, they don't. Okay, no, they don't. You're right. So I trusted her. I buy the item I'm supposed to buy, and I give it to her, and I should not have done that shit. Because she think I don't know. First off, she held my bracelet on purpose, so I didn't post on YouTube. She was holding my bracelet for a long time on purpose. Then, when she gave it back to me, they told me what arm to put it on. She put it on the opposite one they told me to put it on. Then when I looked at the bracelet, it was scratches on the bracelet. Just in case y'all don't know, when you start seeing little scratches on your stuff and you live with somebody, or you know, like, somebody's in your vicinity, like in your proximity where you're with other people, a shared space, if somebody's putting scratches like on the counter or something like that, that's somebody doing witchcraft. And I didn't know that then. I know that now, though. So she cursed my bracelet, basically, is what she did. And that way, so I would have to keep coming to her. So she held me up from posting on YouTube, basically, y'all, because I trusted the lady. And I could have just bought the item and just went ahead. Because he said, oh, yeah, once you get it, put it on. He said, go on about your business. He said, post and do whatever you need to do. Yeah. She was hating the whole time, and I didn't know it. So she came to pick me up, and I actually vlogged it when I said I went out to dinner with a homegirl. It was with her, and we went to a Chinese buffet. We sat down, we had great conversation, and I did tell her about the thing that happened with her husband. I was like, it felt like I was hypnotized, and she said, Nina. And I told her, I was honest with her. I said, yes, I've dealt with a married man before, this and the third. I said, but I swear to you, I'm not trying to come at your husband or nothing like that. I said, I don't know what happened. And she started giggling. She said, Nina, I know exactly what that is. And then she told me what it was. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, he need to get that shit removed off him or something. That shit is dangerous. Like, yo. And she was like, yeah, I already know what that is. But then I also brought up to her, I did not like the racist joke. And she was like, I don't remember that. And she said that she would bring it up to them because she said she didn't want me to feel offended. But I also noticed when we was at dinner, she kept saying, Nina, you're really pretty. Nina, you're really pretty. And I know she has certain insecurities about like her mouth and stuff, but she's a pretty woman. And I'm like, why? And but then also her weight and stuff. And I'm like, she done lost weight. She look good. And I told her that, so I could tell you've been doing some healing when we reconnected. She looked good. And I'm like, why are you so insecure about me for? She kept saying, Nina, you're so pretty. Nina, you're pretty. Nina, you're really pretty. And I'm like, okay, it's getting to the point it's a little uncomfortable. So I also was giving her advice for her YouTube channel and stuff, and I was trying to help her with that. Now, we did stay in contact for a while, and she ended up telling me about this event that they were having. We'll call it like an event where different mediums came together. So by then, she had already told her godparents how I felt, and I could tell by her response back, yeah, they don't like the kid. And I'm like, it's okay. They ain't gotta like me. But I did want to go to this mediumship event with different mediums because I wanted to learn. I wanted to strengthen my mediumship gift. And I also wanted to see how it worked. And she said, you don't have to participate, Nina. You can just sit there and you don't have to participate. You can just watch everybody else, basically. And I was like, all right, cool. But the thing is, it was like an hour and a half away from where I stayed. I went and I had to buy like a dress and had to wear a certain attire and stuff. And I was like, Lord, we over here penny pinching. Okay, we over here penny pinching. But I went and bought the dress and stuff. And when we went to this mediumship event, okay, boy, it was an event. One, I felt so out of place. Because once again, the only black people there, okay, was me and her husband. Everybody else was either white or they were white Hispanics. All right, on a lick of color, okay. So, but I was so open to learn, but I could tell they was judging me. And this is the thing. Yeah, y'all quote unquote spiritual. And I really am spiritual. I could feel if you don't like me like that or you uncomfortable around me. Everybody was uncomfortable around me. I spent more time with the dog, okay, than I did with them. And then it was also at her godparents' house. Now, my favorite thing was they have like a little mini farm. So I was looking at their setup and how they had their farm set up in their backyard. I'm like, okay, so this is how we could we put a garden over there. How the animals fenced off. What type of fence is that? Okay, that's what I'm going to need. Okay. So I was looking at that. And they have different buildings out there as well to do their quote unquote spiritual work. Now, this is the thing. When we was at the mediumship event, I ended up not sitting beside them, Miss Lou and her husband. I ended up sitting across from her. And I ended up sitting beside this white lady I had never met. This white lady gave me a message, okay? I said, good God. And I knew she won't lie, and she was having certain reactions and stuff. And it's like she gave me a missing puzzle piece. And it was at that mediumship event when that lady was giving me that message is when them people realized it's something really special about her because of the ancestral line that she come from. Because the ancestor that came through was not no normal ancestor, and the ancestor that came through is the reason why I have some of these spiritual gifts that I have. They were legit waiting for me. And when I say they strong as hell, they strong as hell. They was the one that I mentioned. They were the healer in their village. That's exactly who I get it from. And her story and her mess, my God, y'all, it's just mind-blowing. So everybody was already blown away by that. And then I started giving messages. And I don't know none of these people in there but Miss Lou and her husband. And I had messages for like maybe 2-3 different people, but it won't Miss Lou and her husband. So that's how everyone like, okay, she legit. Okay, she legit. She got messages coming through and she don't know these people. But then also, her goddad had a message come through for me as well. And in the message, like in this branch that they're in, which just so happened, my ancestor just so happened to be a part of this branch, allegedly, they say. Like, usually you get assigned like a certain, I don't know if you want to call it a spiritual deity or something of that sort, but it's something that is to be honored, especially in Africa though, I'll say that. And usually everybody gets one. I get 2. And everybody's like, she gets 2? And he said, they said she gets 2. And I was like, what do that mean? Everybody like, that mean you're really, really special. And they looking at me like, who the fuck are you? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I get 2. I get 2 what? 2 what? What I get 2? And so it was pretty much official. Like, yeah, she legit. So that also took play in some of the jealousy as well, because everybody really liked me. And when I was leaving, they was like, yo, you gotta come back. You gotta come back. They was like, you gotta join us and become part of our house, this, that, and the third. Now, before we left out of that mediumship event, they ended up doing a special ceremony on me because of my ancestor that came through, and because she's so high ranked. She was more high ranked than everybody that was at that event, I tell you that. And so they ended up doing some type of fire cutting something on me. And I had to do this. Listen, it wasn't that weird, but it was a little weird. Okay? And I'm trying to understand what's going on. And I'm thinking all of this stuff is spiritual, right? But because she had the conversation with them about me not liking the racist joke, and they're white. Well, my bad. They're white Cubans. My bad. They're white Cubans. They felt some type of way. So he decided to throw in at the end in the conversation. He was like, no one cares about YouTube witches. I was like, oh, so you telling him my business. Okay? So you telling him my business. And then he also decided to throw in there, that Cubans were the ones that started spirituality. And they're the ones that taught people spirituality. And I'm thinking in my head, nigga, you got me fucked up when you know damn well that shit started in Africa. But I'm an hour and a half away from my crib, bro. Okay, and I need to get home. But what I do know is his backstory, and when he got into spirituality, the people that taught him about spirituality and to get into this branch is like a certain way you got to get in. But back then when he got in, it was way rougher. But because he went in up under all black people and he's a white Cuban, they made him pay for it. So they basically whipped that man like a slave. And I think he holding some animosity about that. Because you know where it really come from, bro. Stop playing with me now. So he felt some type of way about it, so he decided to throw that in there. I said, bet, I know what I'm dealing with. Y'all not gonna change. But they were being nice to me because a message came through that said, yeah, she doesn't have the money to get, the ceremonies done that she needs to get done. But if y'all help her, y'all will be blessed as well. So they just wanted to help me to get a blessing. Okay, and that's why I got to be careful with who I let help me. Because some people just want to help me because they see the gift on me and they want a blessing. But after that, we would speak every once in a while. But then we ended up having a conversation, and she told me that her white Cuban godparents and her be saying nigga. And I didn't know how to react at the point in time, so I ain't say nothing. I was like, oh, really? So I processed it, and I said, me and her going to have a conversation because you're not going to be saying nigga because you ain't got the right to say nigga. And we actually ended up kind of like falling off. And it won't because I was mad about, the nigga thing. It's just we naturally fell off because she was busy. I was busy. But she hit me up and she was like, Nina. And she was like, we're having another mediumship event and everybody keeps asking for you to come. And also she hit me up and told me that the lady that gave me the message by my ancestor, she has another message for me. So we add each other on Facebook, but I never got the message from the lady who had the message for me. I also never got to go to this mediumship event because she made up some type of excuse why she couldn't come and pick me up because she didn't like that I was getting a lot of attention. Now, before I got invited to this mediumship event, and when I was getting attacked in the hotel, when I was in the hotel by myself and I had to talk that demon off of me and pray that demon off of me that sat on me for 30 minutes, she came and got me again. And she did some quote-unquote spiritual work on me. She told me she was doing Reiki. She keep telling me she gonna do Reiki and then come to find out when she done. Oh, I didn't do Reiki on you. But she did do some healing on my root chakra. And one of my archangels came through and some messages had came through as well. Now, what she did see was, she was like, Nina, did you ever get raped before? She saw me get raped. She saw when I had got raped by the first guy I told y'all in the Dream Magic video, the one on YouTube. That's what she saw. She had saw that dream when he had raped me spiritually. So, like, all of that was coming up as well. I also ended up speaking to her dog. She had a little chihuahua who had kidney disease, and that was my little boo. And I ended up having a conversation with him, and I wrote down everything that he wanted. And I gave them the list, and I gave them the messages he gave me. And they did everything that the little doggy wanted on that list. And the last thing that they did on that list that he wanted was, he said he wanted to go to the beach. And he went to the beach, and she said a few days after he went to the beach, he passed away. So I did help her dog as well. But me and her did end up kind of falling off. And like I said, I never got to that mediumship event. But I was glad I didn't go to that mediumship event as well, though. Because that's the day I ended up having a conversation with my baby that I lost in my last miscarriage. And I ended up being able to let her go. And being able to finally heal from that. So I did do some deep healing on that day. But I also found out that she told these people that I ain't have a house. She's like, she don't have a phone. She doesn't have a house. She's homeless. She doesn't have any of this. And I'm like, my phone is on. You just don't have my number because I don't trust you. When we reconnected, I did not give her my phone number. But we had a couple of convos, and I hit her up, and I told her I wanted to talk, and I didn't tell her what it was about. But because she knows how to read people's minds, she knew that conversation was going to be about her saying nigga. And when I say she dodged me for 2 months straight, it got to the point where I said fuck it, and I just blocked the lady. I ain't got time for it. What I learned is, just because everybody say they're spiritual, does not mean they're spiritual. Because come to find out, when we left from that mediumship event, she was like, yeah, I'm a witch. I'm a proud witch. And this, that, and I was around a whole bunch of witches and didn't know it. And that's why I tell y'all, stay spiritually aware. because they will try to take your energy, use your energy. They will use you as a energetic spiritual shield, or like a spiritual energetic wishing well, to keep getting blessings. Long as I help you, long as I keep you around, I could keep getting blessings. I could keep getting favor. Y'all insulted me with the sky god thing. Y'all really don't like me because y'all mad because I'm black and y'all not. Okay, because she keep trying to tell me, Nina, I'm black. I'm like, okay, baby. No, you're not, baby. Be proud of your heritage. Okay, be proud of your heritage. I done went through racism. Okay, all types of stuff with these people. And what I learned was, lean on God and not on your own understanding. Because it was a few times I got nudges not to deal with these people. And I'm glad that I started leaning on God and not on my own understanding. You could say the sky god this, you could say the sky god that, but the sky god done pulled through for the kids so many times. That sky god done pulled through for the kids so many times. I'll take the sky god for 600, Alex. Okay, I'll take the sky god for 600, Alex. So, babies, this is the Sunday Mimosa. Okay, in the words of Cat Williams, where was your antennas? Okay, keep them antennas up. Like I tell y'all, stay aware. Awareness is such a beautiful gift to have. Okay, let's not take it for granted. Okay, that's something else I also learned. Be careful with, okay, who you're interacting with. Just because they say they're spiritual doesn't mean that they really are. Okay, that's what I might name it. Just because they say they're spiritual does not mean that they really are. Am I mad at her? No, I understand this lady got a lot of insecurities that I am not responsible for fixing. Okay, but just like Shula King say, jealousy is I want what you have, envy is I don't want you to have it. And we was headed towards envy real quick, and I ain't got time for it. Cause now you blocking me from coming to events and stuff. And that's how these people be moving out here. And I that's why I be to myself, yo. Because I don't got time for that. We can have disagreements, or you can introduce me to some people and they might like me more than you. Okay, but don't hate though. Okay, that's the other message. Work on your own insecurities and stop being jealous of other people's spiritual gifts. Work with the ones that you got, okay? Work with the ones that you got. And I'm saying it again, just because they say they're spiritual, baby, don't mean that they really are. Be careful with who you having conversations with, who you sharing your business with. I done told y'all before, when you booking people for spiritual work, stop telling them what time y'all was born and your house placements and stuff if they ain't ask you for all that. And if they do, ask them why you need that. Treat that shit like it's your social security, yo. These people be sitting up here doing work on you and working against you and telling you that they wrong with you, and the whole time they was drilling holes in your boat. I said, think about it. You ain't got to stay mad, baby, just because they want to do you dirty. Like the Rasta say, rise above it, baby. Who y'all bless? I say no man curse. Don't hold that shit in your heart, boo. Don't hold that shit in your heart, boo. The real message is to all my light workers, my chosen ones, my ones that were called by God. Y'all be careful out here. Just because they say they spiritual, don't mean that they are. Love you, babies. Protect your neck. Mwah.